Hello, welcome to Keys and Bricks, a real estate podcast that focuses on real advice for real estate decisions. This podcast is sponsored by Brilliant Elite Homes. Brilliant Elite Homes is a real estate company based in Nairobi along Mombasa Road. We deal in property management, selling of property, letting and leasing. For more information about our company, kindly see our contact details on the screen. So today, we are going to dive into a topic called investing in tiny homes. We've seen a trend coming up of tiny homes being introduced in the market, and many Kenyans are uptaking this because it saves on the construction period and also on cash. So to guide us through today's discussion, we are joined by Alan Karani, a retail expert, and Brian Karemi, a retail expert. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So maybe to start us off, what do you think about tiny homes?
Tiny homes basically are living spaces which are limited in space in terms of the area, the plinth area of the space, mostly between 20 to 60 square meters in size. And due to the cost of construction of brick and mortar houses being a bit high, they are becoming a very affordable alternative to the brick and mortar housing, and also they save on the space, so you're left with more compound to work with in terms of a kitchen garden, in terms of a lawn, in terms of your living space outside of the home is much bigger, because most of the properties that we buy nowadays are actually 1/8 of an acre, which is basically 50 by 100. So when you have a tiny home and you set it up properly, then you're left with more working space outside for the outdoors. Yes.
Okay. We're also seeing more legal and zoning acceptance of tiny homes. How is this creating new opportunities for investors?
Now, when it comes to the legal and zoning, these tiny homes are creating spaces for the people that do not have space, in terms of like if you want to invest in you have a small space in your compound and you want to invest in it, it's easier to get these containers. You furnish them and refurbish them and have them in your spaces, which will create an extra investment and extra income into that. And when it comes to the legal part of it, you do not need any legal documentation to have that particular home in your space. So it is creating more investment opportunities for the people that are looking to have a smaller home to create space for that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Brian, let's talk numbers.
Yes.
How do you think tiny homes generate income?
There are many ways of earning income. You can either let it out on long-term basis. You can either lease it out. Some companies are actually preferring to lease those tiny spaces instead of having a brick and mortar space. So they get a piece of land and they put, especially businesses like car showrooms, which just lease the land and do not want to put up any permanent structure, or the lease is on short-term basis. So you again don't want to invest long-term in brick and mortar. So you can get a container or prefabricated unit. And even on the tiny homes front, you even have caravans, motorhomes, people living in them and also using them for working. The mobile homes even give you the option of moving from point A to point B with it. So if you have a site, if you're in construction, you can have a site office and you move with it. And in terms of numbers, from a letting perspective, you can let them for anything from 10,000 to 40,000. Mostly because of the size. Again, you cannot go too high, and then the location is usually a bit farther out of town, because again you're looking at the outdoorsy kind of person who does not want noise. And with the advent of working from home, some people even prefer, even when they have a home, they build a tiny home besides the main home, so that they use that as an alternative office for working from home, where you actually leave the house and go to the office, and not just work from your sofa or your office in the house, which might make you actually work longer hours, as opposed to when you're going to the office and coming out. But now it saves you the hassle of traffic, the hassle of 2 hours commute. Yes.
Maybe to add on what Brian is saying, looking at it now with even the growing trend of Airbnbs, the focus even of developers is going to constructing of those studio apartments, which the space there is limited, and even the construction, buying that home will be around between 800,000 to 3 million, which is something that it's affordable. So it makes it easier now for even the developers to come up with any unit or any project for anyone. So if you are this guy who is looking for something to invest in, you have your 2 million, or you can get a loan somewhere. And right now we have circles who are giving loans even up to 1 million. So it is easier for you to even get your financing to buy that particular studio apartment. Investment, as Brian has said, between 10,000 to 45,000 a month. If you do the maths in a year, you have your 1.2. You've already repaid your loan, and you're good to go. So
The
it's
cost
something
of
that
your
is,
ROI.
If you look at it, the return on investment is between 2 to 3 years. You have your money back. So it's something that really is we need to look into it. And even as we've seen, the developers that are there now, the focus is on studio, 1 bedroom, and 2 bedroom. And even most of them are not even going for 2 bedroom. It's a studio and 1 bedroom, which is fetching good returns even for the developers themselves as well. And if you look at it, if you have a space of 50 by 100 and you want to construct the studios, how many units will you have? So for the developer, for the investor, it's a win-win.
Come to think of it, someone would argue out, at the end of the day, I still need land. I still need to buy land. Now, when you bring in the aspect of land, does it make it expensive?
It is not expensive per se, because what's the greatest cost in acquisition of a home? If you look at it, is it usually depending on also where you want to? Because again, you might have ancestral land which you've inherited, but it may not be big enough. You'll find people in Kiambu, around the central Kenya area. The land mass is getting smaller and smaller because of the division amongst the family members. So you're finding now people going further afield, going to Kajiado, going to Machakos, and buying there. Where for what you can get for an eighth in Limuru, you can probably buy 5 acres in Kajiado. So from that perspective, if someone is looking to farm, then they are better off in Kajiado, because they will get a bigger land mass for the same investment, as opposed to an eighth in Limuru. Because there, again, because of the proximity to town, then you find that's what determines the cost of the land. So it is a trade-off. If you want proximity to town and also the amenities that come with living near the CBD, then you go with the Limuru option, which means again you have less money left over from after acquiring the land, then you have less money for building. When you buy in Kajiado, you can actually get in Kajiado the same size as I was saying, an acre probably going for about 3-4 million. If you get an acre going for 4 million, then you can put up very many tiny houses on that property. Because if you say on each of those tiny homes you have an eighth, then you're doing 8 units. 8 units on 40-foot containers, you're still left with a garden area, an area for your patio, basically outdoor living space. Yes.
Okay. So for someone who is ready to invest, what are the key things to check first? Land ownership, zoning regulations, utility access.
For investment in tiny homes, also you look at 2 things. if you're investing in the outside, then that is where you need to look for land and the due diligence that you need to do in terms of acquiring the land. Also, now when it comes to now the proximity of the city center, basically here you only need to ensure that you're dealing with the right developer who has a good I would call it who has been in existence for some time and has been there and has done things that are visible, and the projects that they have done are there to you can have a look at them, the history of what he has been doing, because in the proximity of town, the most important thing I think you look at is the infrastructure, the amenities that are available to that, and again is the location of the place or the project that you need to work with, because for tiny homes, the most important thing is, if I want to invest in it, is it in a location that is able to give me the return on my investment? Because again, if I'm going to have it in a place like Kajiado, you are limited to weekends only for the guys who want to go outside Nairobi. But if you're near the CBD or near the proximity of town, it's an everyday thing. I'm in Nairobi, I need a place to stay because I have been work on a weekday, it works. So for me, it depends with what you want or how you want to put it. And again, it also depends on how much do you want to fetch, or what is your span in terms of how the return on investment. How long do you want to take to get your money back?
Okay.
The actual proliferation of tiny homes in Kenya actually started, it was way back there, but then people started going all out. The bigger the house, the better. But then you find not everybody needs that space. So people started, like when you're moving to places like Nanyuki, when you're doing Kajiado, the Ngongs, the Kiserians, you find when people are doing their major project, then they have a smaller unit that they're actually living in as they are doing the bigger project. So then people realized, when your kids move out, then what happens to the bigger house? You have a 5-bedroom unit. What do you do with the 5-bedroom unit? You probably did a mansion it. What do you do with the mansion it? You have come of age. You are 60 years old. Your knees are giving in. You can't go up the stairs every other day. Are you going to invest in a lift, or are you going to move into a tinier space? Because the older you get, the less space you need. So you find somebody did the bigger house when the family was there, but as soon as the family moved out, they moved into the guest unit and rented out the big unit. So the tiny spaces became more and more what I would call chic. They became acceptable, because before it used to be about the size of the home, the size of the house, but the tiny homes became more acceptable. We started seeing more prefabs. The Chinese came with the advent of the prefabs, which can be done in 2 weeks. Then also we started seeing containers being converted into offices and homes. So all that led to now acceptance that these tiny spaces, who are you building for? Are you building because of other people, or you're building for you? So the tiny spaces became more acceptable. And that's where Alan is saying it just depends on your need. If you want proximity to town because maybe you're a commuter, but if you're a work from home person, you can even do it in all the way in Namanga, and you find even there are some places which have cottages built in form of tiny homes. You go to Nyandarua, there's a place there. I know there's one in Kajiado built up on a hill somewhere, which started out as tiny homes and then grew into a resort of those tiny homes. There was more demand. So they have conference facilities, but the accommodation is in tiny homes. When you go to the Mara and the Savo, you also have people who do tented camps. Tented camps are limited because you're using canvas. When you move away from canvas and bring in the element of wood and you do them properly, then you actually get more money than in a tented camp.
True. So I want us to break it down further. So what are the different types of tiny homes that we have?
I think from where I sit, we have different types. one I would say is this the fabricated containers, which is very easy, sustainable, economical. You just need to go buy it, come have it dropped at your place, and you're ready to go. Then we have the movable ones also as well. The ones that it's a trailer
on wheels.
On wheels.
You plug it on your car
Truck.
where you are going. You're ready to have a house. Then we have these other ones that brick and mortar, small, that are like studio apartments that now you have that are coming up. The ones that people are using for B&Bs and small offices here and there. Yeah, so I think maybe Brian.
Again, you might even have them in form of you're doing a project, like you're doing a road, like let's say when the contractor comes to do a road and he needs to have his staff on site, and it is far from any other town, or there are no available accommodation in that place. So you find they bring in those prefabs. The prefabs is where the people stay, and after the project, because they've probably just leased the land for the period of the construction, then you find after the period is gone, they can either donate it to the local community, or they can decide to also move it to a new project site. So you have that, and you also have the option of caravans. Caravans have been there. You have caravan parks in all other countries, mostly in Europe during the hippie era, which was the 70s and the 80s. People used to live in caravan parks. There were very famous ones in the US, in Detroit, in places like Texas. You used to have caravan parks where people just come, you park your caravan, and you live in it. Because you want the minimalist, people are also going minimalistic. Because you find, you realize all this having so much you don't need, sometimes you don't use, is unnecessary. So due to that, then you find people are now living on the bare minimum. And also due to environmental concerns, you find when they are living in such places, they are not polluting the environment as much, they are not disposing as much trash. So those are the factors that are leading to the tiny homes being more and more popular. Yes.
Okay. So in terms of budgeting, especially for the first time investors, what should they consider? Purchase price, there's customization, there's maintenance, marketing. So
in terms of budgeting, I would say, as I said, it will range between 800 to 1.5, depending on where and the type of the tiny home. If you go for the container, it's very easy because it will come in fully fabricated, ready to use. So it's just up to you now to have a place for it and have it furnished, and you are good to go. Construction bit, it will take a bit of time. That's why we put the higher side of around 1.3, 1.5. So that is how it comes in. And then when it comes now to the movable one, it's same like the one for the container. It's ready, just put it on the wheels and you are good to go. So in terms of financing, I think, as I said, you have circles that can be able to give you that little amount, because if you save with the circle for like 300k, you get times 3 of that, you already have enough to pay for the container. So it's up to you now, the space, and the space is very, very limited. So if you have a 50 by 100, you have your home there, you need just to get a piece of that home, and you place your container there, you're good to go. Yeah.
So maybe for the sake of our viewers, what do you think, especially like you've broken down the budgeting, for the sake of our viewers, when you are going for the loans, is it a mortgage? Is it just a normal loan? Because remember, this is tiny homes are part of real estate.
The beauty about the tiny homes is that you might actually fund it yourself. If you plan yourself properly, you can say, in lieu of the rent I pay, I am actually going to do this as a DIY, a do-it-yourself project, where you get the container, then you come and get ideas either online or you can even get an interior designer to come and design for you, because basically what you need on the outside is the paneling. You insulate it. Nobody will, when you're inside the tiny home, you won't even know you're in a container.
Yeah.
Then also to prevent things like heat, because again they are susceptible to heat. So you might find someone has put in a roofing, and since the cost is $1 million to 1.5 million, the person can actually finance that without needing a mortgage or a loan. So it takes away the burden of long-term debt, which nowadays is if you're living debt free, it is a very good option, especially in terms of owning the home. It takes away your rent cost, and it also takes away your mortgage costs, which can be adverse when you're unable to pay. And with the current situation, especially after COVID, it taught people a lot of things. It taught people that income can end in one day.
Yeah.
The whole world can shut down, where you might have your home in another country and you might not even be able to go there. So I think COVID was the game changer for a lot of people. And that's when now you started seeing 5 years ago proliferation of these tiny homes. And the costing per se is actually the best part about it. Because when you have the land, then you can be able to do the tiny home without too much upfront cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you have the land, yeah.
When
but
you have
now,
the land, but even if, when you
but
don't,
now
as
when
we
you
said,
don't have,
even when you don't have the
yes.
land, you can, as we said, you can either go to your ancestral home. If you do not have land in your ancestral home, acquisition of land, as long as you accept that you might have to live further away from town a bit, you can actually get plots in places like Kajiado for as low as 300,000, 400,000. So your total cost of acquisition is actually below 2 million.
2 million, yes.
That's true, but I'm looking at, remember 2 million. 2 million to you might be a drop in the ocean. 2 million to maybe someone else who aspire to have this, they might not have that 2 million. That's why I'm asking, in case I want that, maybe one of our viewers, let's say, they have seen this and they want to get this. They don't have ancestral land. They don't have anything. They have maybe seen a plot in, let's say, Kajiado, and they want to buy. But now when they want to buy, because I need to buy that land and I need to construct or now put up this tiny home.
Yes.
If I approach a financial institution, is this a mortgage? Is this a loan? This is someone who is in employment, who is open to...
That is actually the best person, because what happens is, just like affordable housing, which is costing about the same, from $1 million to 3 million.
Yes.
And affordable housing, you're living in the sky somewhere.
Yes.
Where you're on top of other people, you're on the 10th floor. Sometimes you find the lifts break down. You can imagine coming down from 10th floor, going all the way down. As we said, you're growing older. So again, the tiny home option is better for the banks to finance, because the risk of defaulting is lower.
Yes.
The risk spread is actually lower, because they've given you a low amount. Even if they finance 70% of the costs, you're basically putting down 300,000 and they are giving you 1.7 million, which you can offset with the money you used to pay rent before to a landlord. So look at it as a knock-on, the knock-on effect. You used to pay rent of maybe 20, 30,000. If you invest the same, but then again, the uptake, as we said, of mortgage in Kenya is quite low. So you find most people tend to depend on circle loans and put them, and bank financing. Bank financing, which sometimes can be erratic in terms of the interest rates. Yes. When the central bank rate is at 9, you find the banks are at 18, 19. Yes. So it is for you to decide which is your poison, which is your preferred poison.
Yes.
But I would say, with income, for me, the SACCO is the best option, because you will have time to save with the SACCO. After that, you have an option of getting up to, some even give up to three times of what you've saved. So And the interest rates for the SACCO are much lower. So it's the best option that we can say if you really want to do an investment into the tiny homes. The best option for you to go is with the SACCO.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, viewers, you've heard. I just wanted to bring this out, that if you feel like you want to have or to own a tiny home, you have the option of approaching your SACCO or your bank, and they can finance it, because the investment is very minimal, 2 million, and you get not even a 1 bedroom. You can even, because I've seen tiny homes that are up to even 3 bedrooms. Yes. Good space. I want to now focus on tiny homes that are constructed for rental or Airbnb. So one of the things I want us to discuss is what strategies work best for the rental options, marketing strategies.
I think one of the key factors is actually what is becoming quite attractive to people. Not everyone wants to go and live in a brick and mortar resort for their holiday or for their vacation or break. So you find you even have people just looking for a city break, just to get out of the city for a weekend, for a week, when the kids are on holiday. And you find in such places as Nanyuki, as Kajiado, as we said, you find there are people now having these small tiny homes which they are letting out for other people to experience, and even farm stays, what you call farm stays, where they have a farm which produces other things, and there are kids from this family who want to go and experience the farm life, but they do not have an ancestral home to go to. So they invite people there for those farm stays in those tiny homes, where they go and live there for the period of their vacation, and they experience the farm life. They wake up in the morning, they go milk the cows, they go pick eggs from the chicken coop, they go and do harvesting of fruits or anything that is planted on the farm. They take the milk to the dairy at the local maybe shopping center. So those people who want to experience that, you find most of the time the biggest cost of a holiday is usually the transportation and the accommodation. But if you can live in a tiny home at the fraction of a cost, then you tend to experience the other activities in the area more than where you are staying. So it is becoming a very attractive option in the Airbnb space. And also I think it had about 30% uptake, increase in uptake in the last 2 years on booking.com. So you find more people are looking for such, they are calling them off-grid, where you are not on your normal, you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So there is a demand, and you find most of the time there is a back-to-back clientele who are coming into this space. During the holidays, there are people working from home, there are people traveling. I think I was in Kilifi for 2 weeks, and we did not stay in a hotel. We actually stayed in a home. Yes. It was not a tiny home per se, because we were in a group, but we actually, so the option is becoming more attractive because you're looking at proximity to what you're doing and the location of what you're doing at. Yes.
Okay. So how then do you attract the right tenants or guests?
In attracting the right tenants is the service you provide, your location, and the activities that will go along with what I want to do. If I want to escape the busy Nairobi life and I want to go to a tiny home in Kajiado, as Brian said, I want to experience the farm life. So what activities are you providing in that particular place that will make either me or my family to enjoy the weekend and to have that urge again to come next time?
Or even stay longer.
Yes. So it is the activities, the service that you're going to provide, and even just the environment itself. Because when you go out of the city, you will get to feel the nature, you will get to feel the clean air, the greenery. There are those people who will just enjoy that greenery in Kajiado or the fresh air outside Nairobi. So
usually some don't even offer things like electronics and TVs. You want to stay away from the Wi-Fi's and you're actually going for a reset. So you find in such places they offer things like horse riding, where they do not have the service themselves. They may have a neighbor or someone who's offering the same. You might find game drives if there is a park nearby. You might find people doing quad bikes. You might find people doing bicycle rides. So you find there are a lot of nature activities, hiking,
Even nature walk.
yes. So there are a lot of activities that you can actually do, and it just needs you to have the right package.
Yeah. Okay. So what systems help investors manage bookings, maintenance, and guest experiences efficiently?
I would say booking for this one's booking.com is doing a good job, but the uptake in Kenya has not been as good as outside. Because if you look at Airbnb, I've seen in Kenya it's also not that much in terms of that. So I think that is an area that as Kenyans we need to look at a way of coming up with something that will make this kind of stays more attractive, the system that is going to manage it well for people to be able to use. Because for booking.com, I think it's working well in other countries, but here it's not really working.
But even the people who are actually getting bookings in Kenya, most of the people booking on the platform are actually outsiders, but it is due to the demand of the platform. Which means if you can be, it's just like choosing, you can either use Mombasa Road or you can use the expressway. It is a choice. So you can go the Airbnb option. Mostly you're going into uncharted territory because again, you're going without. So unless the person packages the property very well, shows clear pictures, shows the activities that are happening, then you'll find there is popularity in that. Some people are actually putting up amenities surrounding. You come together in a group of 10 people, you all have tiny homes, and in the area you've set up, you have a pool, you have an option of a restaurant in case someone die and want to cook, and you find that such places are actually the ones that are now becoming resort towns, instead of now going to the hotel option.
Come on, guys. You know what I thought? I thought you guys would say brilliant homes. Come on. Come on. Come on.
If you have tiny homes, then you need to tell the viewers about it.
In terms
and
of
the availability.
You see, we offer property consultancy. Yes. And we will guide you on how to market efficiently. Come on, guys.
We are guided. Well guided. Thank you.
See, when it comes to Airbnbs, I think we've had this conversation several times. It all boils down to the management and how people are doing it. So until we come up with a very good solution that offers that particular package, that gives the person that wants to take that the key details and gives you a wholesome. So I think at Brilliant, you need to educate us and give us that wholesome package so that we can be able to put it out there and show people how we are able to manage this thing properly and bring in more people so that
and also have a category that is for specifically tiny homes for the people who want that option, not just the houses, the leasing, the letting. You have tiny homes options as a vacation type of or a holiday option for people who need that, because then again, as you've seen, it is not offered on all platforms, but there is a need.
There's a need. Actually, one of the things we've been discussing with my team is bringing up finding a way of marketing Airbnbs, these tiny homes, the vacational rentals, and just shoot an experience, show people what we are talking about. So it is in the pipeline. So
one thing you need to add onto that, and as we were discussing here, Brian, and you can bear me witness, the caravan tiny homes in Kenya is not something that has been really put up. So Brilliant Homes, you have that option, getting into that market, and I believe Brian and myself are very good when it comes to camping and all that. So we are your first customer.
We will be your first customers.
Noted.
Take up anytime you tell me you have a caravan and I can
Yes.
go with it to the mountain if I want to go spend some days there, and I come back with it, or if you have an option of taking it there and I find it at the location,
Yes.
I would gladly take it up, because most of the time you find during cold season,
Yeah.
you can't live in a tent. It's too cold.
True.
Even with insulation, you
Yes.
find sometimes the weather, when you are at the coast, it's too hot. But with a caravan, you can have air conditioning in it, you can have heating in it. So that option is available. The cost sometimes can be a bit exorbitant, because the caravans are actually more expensive from a letting perspective, because most people assume they will be damaged when they are being transported. But if you have an option of a caravan which is in a certain location, a prefab which is in a certain location, with all the amenities that I require, then we will be your first customers, as Alan said.
Guys, we have first customers. Yasin, we have first customers. So after the show,
Yes.
yeah. So now, as we wind up, where do you see the tiny home market heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think the only way is up, because the demand will keep increasing. We have a generation called the Gen Z and the Gen Alphas, who are quite minimalist in terms of the way they look at life.
Yeah.
They are not us or our parents, because them, they are not looking at who will build the grandest or the largest. They're actually looking at things from a very minimalistic perspective, which is something quite attractive. I also tend to look at things the same way nowadays. They'll tell you I need a small car. They'll tell you I need a car that is not high consuming. I need a house that is cheap to run, because the smaller the house, then the smaller the running costs. You'll need less water, you'll need less electricity. Sometimes if you put the solar option, you may not even need the electricity. You have sometimes even in places like Kajiado, where you have a wind tunnel, you have people who use wind as the that powers the unit.
Yeah.
So you actually, and then people are also getting more environmentally conscious. So in such places you find everything is within the ecosystem of that, and you're not near town, where if when you're going, you need to do your shopping, you will use the compost for your growing of things in those. So the only way is up. Again, as I said, you're leaving more space
Yes.
for the living,
Yeah.
which is the outdoor living, as opposed to just staying like you would in your house in Nairobi, on the couch watching your TV. Now in nature, sometimes you don't even want that TV. You do not want Wi-Fi. You want to get away you want to have a reset. And in such spaces you find people who like writing, people who like creatives. They are in their element when they're in such spaces. So there will continue to be demand for those ones. And I know for some, there's a guy in Kajiado, we can even plan how you can go and visit them and maybe do a shoot there. He did initially tents, then he grew into the tiny homes. Then he now lets them out on weekends and on weekdays. And now he's even building conference facilities where if you go for the week, then people don't tend to run away from the conference. They tend to stay within the premises because it's very far off grid. Yes.
That's interesting. I think we will pick up that. So maybe, Alan, as we close, what would you tell our viewers?
Tiny homes is the way to go, and it's both for investment, or if you're looking for if you're looking for a smaller space to create your own sustainable space, then tiny homes is a way to go. If you're looking for something to invest in with little income, then tiny homes is the way to go. And as you said, we're waiting to hear from you to see how you can package the holidays for Airbnbs and tiny homes, so that we can see, as we said, there's also the caravan bit, which is something very interesting. And if well packaged, if well done, you will have so many customers, starting with me and Brian.
Brian?
For tiny homes, I believe the only way is up. As we said, you need to probably go and look out there and see and offer those as a package, because I always tell people you have options of offering vacations in the bush, on the beach, or even in the wild. Inside the parks you have accommodations which mostly tend to be a bit pricey. But we have a very big market in Kenya of people who actually want to go for these vacations but cannot afford the cost of per night accommodation. You find they might even have their own car, they can drive there, but now the bigger costs, so they are forced to now go to the options of rooftop tents on top of their vehicles, going to a camping ground and setting up their tents there. But if you had options of having some creature comforts in the bush, as much as you're in the wild, you're also getting some creature comforts of a warm bath, solar powered, a nice bed to sleep on, as opposed to sleeping on your camping bed, on your what you call the inflatables, then there is a market for that. And as we said, we are waiting for you to tell us this is the way to go, and we shall follow. Yes, thank you very much.
We sure will. So tiny homes have proven that real estate success isn't about square footage. It's about smart strategy. Whether you're looking to downsize your lifestyle or scale your investment portfolio, small spaces can offer big rewards. A huge thank you to our guest Alan Karani.
Thank you very much.
And Brian Karemi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for finding time and coming to the show. I have been your host, Lorraine Ashimosi, and this has been Keys and Bricks, real advice for real estate solution. Till next time, bye.